I've had the idea for a long time to take a vintage TV and convert it into a liquor cabinet. So I looked on Craigslist and I found this TV for about $250, which was a little bit more than I wanted to spend, to be honest, but it's kind of hard to shop around for vintage TVs. And the one thing I read in my research was that some of these TVs don't have the ability to discharge their stored electricity, so you got to be careful when removing that piece. I grounded it to the metal and put on some gloves and ripped it out of there. The electronics on this thing were crazy. The TV didn't work and the wires were all sort of rotted. The tube was broken, so there was no danger of me destroying a priceless artifact. I won't spend a lot of time showing you how I sanded this, but whatever finish was on this thing was ridiculously durable. I even resorted to using a handheld sandblaster to shortcut the sanding process, but my compressor is small and it didn't really work that well. Threw some LED string lights in here and tested it out to see roughly what I was going to be dealing with. I skipped a couple steps here. I also added a shelf to make the bottles sit at the proper height, but I did that off camera. This is my second entry into the Rockler Hobby Challenge put on by the Modern Maker podcast, and I think the rules were to include some kind of woodworking, and I feel like this was mostly a refinishing process up until this point. I always like when I can take an object that's used for a specific purpose and do something different with it. So I took this 12 by 24 marble tile and I made essentially a frame out of walnut around it. I kind of built this on the fly. I knew I was going to have some handholds and I wanted it to kind of match the aesthetic. I also cut some splines into the mitered corners to reinforce them. Since the tile is a little bit heavy, I didn't want it to come apart. This tile was about $4, and the scrap of walnut that I used didn't really cost me anything. So if you're planning on making some gifts for the holidays, this could be a good alternative to a full-on cutting board. Hey, does drinking count as a hobby, you think? But why not, though?